I've worked out for 6 years, but I've never set foot into a commercial gym. This is my workout routine that I do at home with minimal equipment. Just dumbbells and a pull-up bar. So the routine I use is a push-pull leg split. The whole idea is that on Monday and Thursdays, I do push. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do pull. And on Wednesdays, I do legs. My weekend is my break. So with that being said, I'll bring you through all the exercises I do for each of those 3 splits. So we'll start with my push workout. And in that push workout, we have 6 exercises. We have 2 for the chest, 2 for the triceps, and 2 for the shoulders. So the first exercise we will be doing are the chest flies. And I would always recommend to do them on ground for safety reasons. So after the chest flies, I would do the dumbbell presses. And the dumbbell presses, unlike the chest flies, which only work at the chest, but for dumbbell flies, you're targeting both the chest, the triceps, and the shoulders. So I would always recommend having a balance of both compound lifts, like the dumbbell press to target multiple muscle groups, and isolation exercises, like the flies that really build that single muscle. So the next exercise is the push-up. And the push-up, like the dumbbell press, is a compound exercise that works out both the chest, triceps, and shoulder. So it's important to note that for each of these compound exercises, we can choose whether we want to target the chest or the tricep more based on how far apart we have our arms. So right now you can see me doing diamond push-ups, and because of how close together my arms are, I'm more so targeting the triceps rather than the chest. But say if I were to do push-ups like this, I'm now targeting the chest a lot more. Our next exercise is the tricep extension. And for this one, I would honestly recommend caution. For my elbows, they initially felt pain at doing the tricep extension, but I think now I've gotten used to it. If you don't have a bench like this, just grab some sort of elevated surface. Yeah, something like that, or use some pillows. Just some way to get your body a little bit off the ground. Okay, so push exercises. Do you think we're done?
Are we done? Yeah.
No, we just did chest and triceps. On the shoulders, you silly goose. They really help to round out the physique and build up that Dorito shaped upper body. The first exercise I would do are the side lateral raises. And these are more self-isolation exercises. But I think for smaller muscle groups like the shoulders and the biceps, it's completely okay to do isolation exercises only. Okay. And keep in mind that I would be doing 4 sets each time. And between each set, I would take a 1-minute break to allow my muscles to somewhat recover. Then next we have the figure 8s. And because this is the last exercise I do in my push workout, I don't count reps for this. And just go till exhaustion. So I allow myself to burn out my muscles completely, but only at the very end. So I would take each of these sets to failure. And that is my push workout. We went through 6 exercises, 2 chest, 2 tricep, 2 shoulder, and we got that push workout done. Usually these 6 exercises, 4 sets each, will take around 15 minutes to do. So now that we've done that, let's move on to the pull exercises. With a pull-up bar like this, it's like 20 bucks. I've used this every single week for like 4 years straight. I will change it up every once in a while, the type of pull-up I do, but I always like having some sort of lift. So we have these 3 different handheld positions. just to change things up if you want. If you lift your hand above your head and then tighten while you pull down, you'll see that the muscles here in the back, in the lats, are the ones that tighten. So if you're into rock climbing, lats, gotta get those lats up because you're pulling yourself up in a similar motion to a pull-up up when you're doing lats and when you're doing rock climbing, when you're doing lats. Alright, so the next exercise is the dumbbell rows. So how we do the dumbbell rows, it's a little bit of a strange exercise, but we need to plant our feet a little bit further back, and we kind of have this L shape, and then you bring it up. So now I'll be doing the left side. So those were 2 back exercises, one for the lats to develop back width, and one for the rhomboids to develop back thickness. So now our next 2 exercises will be for the biceps. So you can see, got a bit changed because it was starting to get a bit hot. Now I'm in more like a laddie gym-like clothing. Usually I will work out in my pajamas though. Because I'm bringing you all 3 days of working out, I'm actually sweating a lot more than I usually do. Usually I don't sweat at all, but that's the benefit of working out at home. You can wear literally whatever you want, and I usually just work out in pajamas because it's most comfortable. The thing about curls for me is that there are many different variations of curls, and I will switch things up based on just the thing I'm feeling. So I can do typical curls, something like hammer curls, which is on the side. So whereas the typical curls work out the top of the bicep, hammer curls will more so work out the side of the bicep. So I know a lot of people like doing their curls while they sit down or stand up, but I do this weird kneeling position. And that's why I use this pillow beneath to protect my knees. And I'll explain to you why in a second. The reason why I do this weird kneeling position is that I usually like to watch some sort of YouTube on my laptop while I'm working out, which is again something you can't do in a commercial gym. Because I do 4 sets and I take a minute break between workouts, during my break, I just like to comfortably lie down, like so. So then when I do my bicep curls themselves, I'm not gonna stand all the way up. No, like I'll just go into a kneeling position. So it's really just because I'm lazy. So now we're doing the hammer curls. And if you feel, John, sure, that top part is still activated. But if you feel the side, it's actually a lot more activated now too. Do you see how the side is also very tight?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the benefit of the hammer curls compared to the standard variation. And I'm dying right now. That was a good one, eh? That is my pull workout. It was a lot shorter than it actually was, but I'll do 4 sets of each of these. So I think the abs and legs are kind of like opposite muscles in the regard that everyone wants to get 6-pack abs, but no one cares about the legs. Like, we can't forget about the legs. I know that initially when I first started lifting, no legs at all, but now I started to bring them into the routine, so my legs are starting to catch up. But first, I always start my workouts with abs, and I know that like abs are one of those muscles where everyone does so many different exercises for them. I just do a single exercise and I still have 6-pack abs. I mean, I just use a slider and I just do some ab rolls. And I don't even track the number of reps for this, just because I genuinely don't believe the abs require much training to pop. And they say abs are made in the kitchen, and I fully agree. Cool, and that is the only thing I do for abs. I'll do ab rolls for 4 sets, and then I'll just move on to legs. My, I guess, ab and leg day workout is the shortest because all I do is 1 exercise, the ab rolls for abs, and then 2 exercises for my legs. The first is for my hamstrings and my lower back. So that would be the dumbbell deadlift. And the second one is the squats, or like dumbbell squats for the quads. I think a big part of lower back pain is because one's back is not strong enough, because it's not a muscle that's worked out very often. Developing lower back strength is important for posture and for back health in the long run. So you're trying to keep your legs straight while you bend down your back, and you should be able to feel the burn in the hamstrings. Oh. So that's the deadlift, and the last exercise, it's probably the most hated one of all exercises. For me, I find it quite enjoyable, but it's the squats. And I do this with a single dumbbell, where you get into like this seated position. I grab the dumbbell, and just go up and down. That was a juicy workout. I really enjoyed that, and it was fun to have John along with me for this whole workout routine. We are pretty early in the morning, so a big shout out and thanks to John for coming to help and film this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you had a fun time. See you in the next video.